Hello, welcome to the Indie Ocean, the channel where some stuff happens sometimes about games. This is 5 Minutes RPG. It was released a couple of days ago on Xbox Live Indie Games for the highly questionable price of 240 Microsoft points. That's not a lot of money, but this isn't a lot of game either. Without further ado, let's just plough into it. This isn't really an RPG, as you'll see. It's more of a hexagonal gauntlet, which will make more sense as we go along. But it's not exactly deep or engaging. But there's an idea in here somewhere that's or would be worth using, but it's not used here. It's completely squandered. Alright, you can have 4-player in this, but I don't have friends around here who are willing to play rubbish games with me, so I've only played it alone. You can see we have 3 difficulty settings, each 6 levels and a boss level, and yeah, I haven't played many of them, but actually I've played more than it's showing here. I've actually played level 4 on normal and level 2 on hard, but it for some reason didn't save my progress. In fact, after I finished level 3 on normal, the first thing it did was put me back on this screen showing me level 3 as the next unlocked level. Very irritating. And just one of many examples of how badly designed this game is. Well, let's go for hard. Level 1. Okay, here we go. You can see we're a wizard, and we have to explore a randomly or procedurally generated dungeon made entirely of hexagonal rooms. And each hexagonal room is made up of its own little hexagons. If you watch me carefully, you'll notice I can move directly left and right, but I can only zigzag up and down, because the hexagons are pointy side up, which is the opposite way round to the way the larger hexagon of the room is orientated, which really displeases the OCD part of me. Anyway, this is basically a hack and slash kind of thing. We have to clear out each room of enemies. Well, we don't have to clear all of them. There are some we have to clear. But we're basically grinding to make ourselves stronger and trying to find chests with stuff in them to make us strong enough to fight the boss of each dungeon. And we have a couple of things we can do. We have this melee attack that we use by holding A. Hello, Palm Top Tiger, whoever you are. We have this projectile attack that we use by pressing B. We can heal ourselves by pressing X. And there's no magic bar or anything, so we can do it as much as we like. And that's about it. You can see in the top left we have 4 stats. The top one is healing, represented by a little picture of a potion. We can pick up bigger potions to strengthen our healing power. The one below it is our melee attack. That's a picture of a wand. And again, we can pick up bigger and stronger wands. The one below it is a rock, which is our projectile attack. Yet they're meant to be rocks and not, in fact, I don't know, crepes or whatever they look like. They look like crepes to me, anyway. Or maybe Cornish pasties. And then the bottom one is our robe, which is basically our defense rating. And you can increase all of these by using them, so the more damage you take, the more your robe strengthens, and the more you hit stuff with your wand, the stronger your wand gets. Just like real life. Hey guys. Anyway, you can also find stronger ones in chests, which you're usually reliant on, because just grinding your way to strength takes too long. Okay, so you can see I'm having difficulty hitting this red blob here, and that's because it was kind of to the right of me, and I can't attack directly right because of the bloody hexagon squares. That's a major problem with this game. The fact that you can't, you can move directly and attack directly in some directions, but not in others. You can only attack diagonally in most directions. It's very, very irritating. And that wouldn't be quite so bad if you moved specifically directly from hexagon to hexagon. You know, like in a turn-based strategy game or something like that, where you move from space to space. But you don't. You move sort of gradually in increments. So it's entirely possible to be part in one hexagon and part in the next one. In which case you can't attack an enemy that's in the neighbouring hexagon because you're off-centre, so you can't actually hit it. It's very irritating. One of the other major flaws with this is the projectile attack is completely redundant. Because it's so hard to aim thanks to this stupid bloody hexagon system that you might as well just wade in and use melee attacks. And these coins, you can see me picking up gold coins as I kill enemies. Pointless, serve no purpose. There's no shopping mechanic or anything. They're basically just score under an insulting guise. Don't promise money if there is no money. I mean, that's just irritating. It just shows me what could have been if the developer hadn't been such an asshat. These orange arrows mean we can't leave this room until we've killed all the enemies in it. What a treat. So yeah, I quite like the idea. I think this game has a promising idea. I'm a dungeon crawly sort of person anyway, so I like the idea of a dungeon crawling RPG that can be finished in short bursts. It's one of... Oh, wow, that's a massive upgrade for our projectile attack. You can see that's 4 rocks rather than our basic 1 rock. Wow. Yeah, so the games like The Binding of Isaac benefit from being both randomly generated and short. So you could have, say, a 15-20 minute session in The Binding of Isaac and play through it and then play it again, and each session will be different. So that sort of thing appeals to me. There's definitely an opening for it, a market for it, and I would enjoy it. But this doesn't work because so many of its ideas are either redundant or... See, I couldn't open that chest because I wasn't quite in the correct space. Yeah, so much of this is either badly executed or just redundant ideas, like the projectile attack, that it just doesn't work. Plus, even when it works, it's really, really boring, because it's just the same thing over and over. You know, there isn't the variety of something like The Binding of Isaac. You go through a series of really similar rooms until you grind enough or find enough upgrades to be strong enough to kill the boss by standing next to it and holding A, and then you go on to the next dungeon, and you don't even have a sense of character progression because all your upgrades reset before the next dungeon. But it's just... There's nothing, there's no reason to play this. Plus, 240 Microsoft points. I know it's not a lot of money, but bear in mind that the far superior likes of Cursed Loot, Lair of the Evildoer, Dead Pixels, Escapegoat, Soulcaster, all these other far better games are 80 Microsoft points each. That means you could get... I don't know, you could get Cursed Loot, and Escapegoat, and Dead Pixels for the money you'd spend just buying this game. It's ridiculous. There's no reason to buy this, and there's no reason to release it, except to be a dick. I don't know what the developer was thinking, if anything, and I don't know what they were trying to do. So, this is 5 Minutes RPG, newly released on Xbox Live Indie Games. Don't buy it. Buy other things. That wraps it up for this instalment. As usual, thanks for watching, and rejoin me the next time for more stuff about games. See you then.